OTAN, Outreach and Technical Assistance Network.
Digital Leadership Academy, Year 1, Mid-Project Report. Hacienda La Puente USD, May 2019.
Good morning. Yes, we represent Hacienda La Puente, and we're here to share with you our DLAC journey this year. Little thing about Hacienda La Puente, it is the birthplace of OTAN. It's located in LA County, and it's the second largest adult ed program in California. We serve about 20,000 students a year, and we serve them at 3 main campuses, Dibble, Willow, and Hudson, 5 outreach sites, and 2 workplace classrooms. We offer ESL, citizenship prep, adult basic ed, high school diploma, high school equivalency prep, VESL, IET, parent ed, and more than 20 vocational programs. Our DLAC team is made up of 3 members, and we each have our own focus and expertise. I am Brenda Gomez, and my focus is ESL.
I'm Yecsenia Delgado, and my focus is parent education.
And my name is Armida Chow, and my focus is ABE, HSC, and HSD.
So together this year, we have each strived to integrate technology at HLP into our focus areas. And so we'd like to share that journey with you. We started at the beginning of the year by creating a technology plan that we have been very committed to implementing this year at HLP. We also created a needs assessment so that we could ensure that teachers had everything they needed to integrate technology into the classroom. We had just gotten Chromebooks for all the classrooms, and we needed things like mice and headsets, stylus, things like that. Our administrators ordered those right away for us. They've been super supportive through this whole thing. And then we also made a training schedule, a training that we DLAC implemented, doing things like Chromebooks, Google Docs, and then OTAN came out about 6 times this year, also doing Google and online resources, etc. The ESL goals that I had was to integrate technology into the EL Civics co-ops. My plan was to start with 1 task for a unit and then increase it so that everything was digital. I quickly learned that that was a very ambitious task and I had to revise it. We also wanted to equip teachers with the technological skills that they needed to integrate technology into their classroom. My personal goal was to have the teachers feel comfortable with the Chromebooks by December. We started holding professional developments, and we soon realized that although we were teaching the skills to the teacher, there was no retention because they weren't practicing it and they weren't using it between professional developments. So we asked our administrator to make a directive to our teachers that they must use their Chromebooks in the classroom once a week and that they had to schedule themselves. When they started doing that, they started asking us for more help. So we, because it's scary and we understand the teacher is awkward and you don't want to be out of control when you're in front of the classroom. You want to know what you're doing. So we would go and visit the classrooms and we would help them teach the students how to log on and log off and use the resources and do the EL Civics task. And as we started doing this, we'd walk by classrooms and teachers would say, "Come here, Brenda, let me show you what I did. Oh, I made a web page for my students. Oh, I'm sending homework and email," and they do it at home, and then they come the next day and we correct it together. And so they started taking off with the technology, and then we started doing shout outs. So we'd send an email blast and say, "Oh, April Rodriguez created a website for her classroom. Check it out and ask her how she did it." And then we'd give them like a little Starbucks gift certificate or stuff. And so then it just started taking off. Better. Not perfect, but a lot better. So the successes that we experienced were because of continuous and frequent trainings, individual training sessions, and sometimes more than one with teachers, assistance in the classroom, and then just really recognizing and celebrating staff's accomplishments and growths, And I have to give credit to them. A lot of them have been very persistent in trying to learn Chromebooks and Google. So now I will pass it on to Armida, and she's going to talk about ABE.
So our ideal class actually inspired this presentation as we look back at our ASC instruction. So currently we already have an existing blended learning component. We use Apex Learning as our LMS. And so this is actually my first school year at Hacienda La Puente, and they put me in on all of these projects. And so my first semester, we noticed that one of my students actually needed, she has small children at home, and we're like, we need to expand our distance learning so she can just come to class once a week to test. And so that's what we did this year, and we were expanding. And now even in our evening class, we now have distance learning for our evening students. And so we use Apex for our GED, HiSET, and also our high school diploma students. And this is like my first actually distance learning student this school year. And so Graciela actually lives around other adult ed schools, but she decided to attend our school because we offer that distance learning component. And so she's able to come in just once a week to test. And she does all the work actually at home. So that's been very helpful for her. So with our ANC instruction, so aside from Apex, we have also supplemental learning. And it's so helpful when we attended TDLS. We learned more, we got more information, more resources. So aside from Apex, there are other avenues for our students to actually access information. And with all of that, since we have 3 sites, we have Willow, Hudson, and Dibble, I don't get to see other teachers at night. And they're doing different things. They have different resources. So we decided to have a digital homeroom Google site for our teachers so we can connect. So, so this is what it looks like for our Google site. They used to joke around when I started teaching this school year, one of my new students was looking for me, and they're like, I know my teacher is Asian, but I didn't know where she is. I don't know her name, but I know she's Asian. So our custodian was like, and then gave me an idea. I'm like, you know what, we need a Google site, so at least they know how to email us, how to connect with us. And so we also connected with our contact form through Google Sites, so they can just email their specific instructor and then connect with us. Also, this is an example of our Google site. So for our HiSET students, so we have a separate for our IET, ABE, HSC, and high school diploma. So this is just an example of our HiSET. So they know how to access, sign in, and sign up for their test. And also the resources. So we added the hippocampus before TDLS. We didn't have that, now we do. Because some of our students, they like videos. And so that will help them with their social studies and science component for their HiSET test. So also this year, aside from technology and leveraging digital, we also partnered with a global of schools. We are the second adult school participating with NPDL. So that's our new instructional strategy. We're embedding it with our program. So with our other adult schools, we're using the 6 characters, which are critical thinking, communication, creativity, citizenship, collaboration, and character. So we're partnering with our school district. And although it's not part of our project, we kind of took on because it's inspired us with our ideal course, the chapter 5 about instruction, and this is like helpful for us to connect, especially with ESL, parenting, and us, because like we're all separate, we're doing separate things, and with having this instructional strategy, we can actually connect. So now with NPDL, with our new pedagogies for deep learning, we're embedding now mini projects. Our students are transient, so we try to capture as many like little mini projects or project-based learning with our students. Because we have a lab for our ABE and HSC, they don't get to work. You know, adult students, they want to just do their own thing. Like, don't interrupt me. So one of the lessons that we did is teaching them the mean, median, and mode. So we used M&Ms. And then they learn how to do mean, median, mode, and range. And then we up it up and like embedded like digital technology so they can actually graph. And some of our ABA students, they're like, oh my gosh, I can actually graph and I use computer. And so that was amazing. And then we up it up with our HSCs. And then we told them, okay, you know what? Since you're going to pass your high school equivalency test, let's have you research Bureau of Labor and Statistics and see the career that you want to pursue after you pass the test. And so that's what we've been doing so far, and we want to do that with all our programs so that all our sites will be involved. I want to also give a shout out to Workman High School because they gave us a shout out when they did the NPDL, and they pointed out, because we were talking about adult ed and how it's not going to work with project-based learning for our site, and they said, hey, you know what, adult school, you're actually offering a life-ready learning environment. And so, so we're offering Apex Learning and then pedagogies for ESL, and also I want to give a shout out to our administrators who've been supportive that they're telling us to do experimentation with our technology. And I'll pass it on to parenting.
So our parenting program started with face-to-face presentations. It was primarily at most of our school sites. We had morning and evening classes. Sometimes our parent ed classes only had 2 or 3 participants in them. So one of the things that we wanted to do is provide access to more parents, because a lot of our parents work. They're unable to come to the presentations in the morning. And then, as you all know, once we get out of work, we're tired. Like, we don't want to sit in another workshop. So we decided to start an online curriculum. All of the workshops that we did face-to-face, we brought them to Moodle, and we did a pre-activity, a presentation. Our presentation consisted of the PowerPoint that we used in our face-to-face presentations, and then we did a voiceover. And then with the voiceover, we converted it into a video. So then they would watch like a video that they would get a presentation with. And then we did a post-activity. This is one of the programs that has grown the most this year. I think all of our programs have grown so much, and we've done so much throughout our campus working together. This program's success was really putting it online. We've had a lot more participants. The students love the phone app. A lot of the parents really said that they like that they can just bring it up on their phone while they're waiting to pick up their kids. You know, they're parked outside for 5 minutes, so they were using some of the parenting classes there. Our marketing, we did our marketing through our after-school program, so we used our after-school program to promote the online parenting classes. And we reached a higher population. One of the spreadsheets, some of our parents are 2 parents using 1 account. So when I looked at our registrations on our site, we have 293 users. But when I look at our spreadsheet of how many parents are actually using it, we have about 400 parents right now. And that's because a lot of them, they used 1 registration for mom and dad together. So that was really exciting. When we first started, there was only about 5 to 10 parents. So I said, okay, it's just a pilot. It's something small. And it just kept growing throughout the year. And that was really exciting to see. Some of the obstacles, for me, the obstacle was learning Moodle, because that was a whole new platform for me. I had never used Moodle before. I was adding 1 lesson at a time. So we pretty much started the parenting online in September. I was new to the parenting department. I was new to Moodle, and I was 1 chapter ahead of my students. So I had to learn as I went along. So a lot of the times I would get an email from my student, and that said, oh, I finished the lesson. Do you have another one? And I'm like, yeah, give me 2 days. I needed to also, as our program grew in the beginning, it was easy to manage 10 to 15 students and respond back to open-ended questions and essay format questions. But as it grew to 300 accounts, it was really difficult to keep up with grading and trying to answer all of their questions. Login and registration was a little bit difficult. The Moodle site that we're using is operated through OTAN. So a lot of the times I was the 3rd person in the middle. So they would email me that they couldn't log into their system, and I had to email one of our OTAN specialists to please help me reset it, which was okay because it was a fast process, but I was still that middle person. And I remember there was a glitch at one point, and one day I came in 180 emails, and I was like, no, but we made it work. So here's what our timeline. So in 2017, we only had a language computer lab. We had distance learning that was pretty much paper and DVD. That was our technology, the DVD component. We also had, most of our classes were only face-to-face format.
And also this year, starting our school year, we had online resources. We got our Chromebook and Chrome card, and then we had monthly teacher training, and then also individual teacher training.
And by May actually 2019, by May 2019, we have an established culture of technology and collaboration among our staff, which is awesome. We have websites for putting English to work, 1, 2, and 3, where students, so they don't use DVDs, and for parenting and ABE. We have, I'd say, a good 80% teacher buy-in, and we are creating a learning environment for teachers. We are the lifelong learners. We teachers are the lifelong learners.
And this is where our future is going, to establish our student orientation, convert our distance learning to full online learning, continue to empower our staff and enhance our current resources that are online. And finally, we really want to create a teacher homeroom where they can access all of the resources through links that are just specific for Hacienda La Puente adult education.
Okay, thank you. Questions? We'll get one more. Any questions? Yes.
That's a great question. So where do our parents come from, and do they have to be co-enrolled? So our parents come from our school district parents. So we've promoted our parenting program. It's open to any of our school district parents and anybody outside of the school district, really. It's on our brochure, it's on our catalog. And they don't have to be co-enrolled. They just need to be a parent wanting to take advantage of resources for parenting and helping support K-12 education. Right. So it's still like a WIOA class. It's a supplemental course. We don't do post and pre-testing, although our administrators have asked. That's something that we need to think about and do. But if there's no requirements for the course, really. Currently, we just are enrolling the parents to help support with, And then a lot of the courses to teach some of the soft skills that we need for employment and really help support. Some of them are ESL students, so it's kind of like the parenting class is a dual teaching class. And one of the really important things, a lot of the times they don't know about the adult ed classes that we offer. So through the parenting, we tell them about our ESL, we tell them about HSD, and we start teaching some of the things that they can take. The question was, do we give high school credit for the parenting classes? No, we're not set up to give high school credit for parenting. That's a great question, though, because there is a parenting course that they are able to get credit for. So that would be something to really look at. The question was, where do we get the videos for the parent education? There are presentations, and I use PowerPoint, and then I do voiceover on it. So then everything that I say during the presentation, like the added comments, what the video shows is our PowerPoint, and then behind it, it's somebody speaking. Which is myself right now. Penny's question was for the videos, if we have thought or considered making them open resources. I would have to talk to our administrators about that and make sure what their thought process is about it. I think we still need to refine them. We've learned a lot this year, and we still need to do a lot of refining and kind of revamping some of our courses and programs as they grow and develop, but that would be a great idea.
Okay, the question is, what testing do we offer with ABE? So currently with our APEX learning management system, it actually has the unit. So a student can actually, they pre-test, they come to class and pre-test for our high-set students and see if they can test out with the units that they're already strong. And then once they actually test out, then they can follow through for the next unit. And that's how we do with the testing with our students. And then the strongest area they have, that's the first test that they take with HiSET. Question is, can I show our Google site?
And while she's bringing that up, ESL we also created a Google site for ESL. And when you were talking about the DVDs and then a different presentation, we put all our DVDs on YouTube and gave the links to our students to access online. So all of our DVDs are now online open for them to utilize with their lessons.
And that was a great, wonderful change.
So putting English to work.
Yes, putting English to
Yes.
work 1, 2, and 3.
So I'm also part of our IET program. So we created, so it's just one-stop shop for everybody. So this is our IET, and then this is our HiSET.
So our ESL site is exactly the same. And then when the students click on the teacher, it goes to putting English to work, the level that they use. And then it has all of our, all of the videos links. So they just click in one spot and then they have the link to their video. So we set it up
And they
the
can do
same
it on
way.
their phone too.
So
Yeah.
we found out that by utilizing the teacher's picture to kind of connect, the students are a lot more comfortable, and it's just easier for them to identify who it is, like,
Yeah.
especially our ESL community.
And so for our HSC, we included our examiner, so they can actually contact her through our website too. So that's like easy access for them. And with ABE, if you notice, I know we could just link it through the name, but our students, they can't remember what the website looks like, so we purposely put even the logo and the name and then the link because it's easier for them, so they have no excuse of not accessing the classroom. Thank you.
Produced by OTAN. www.otan.us 2019.